All right, I'm going to talk about how to perform for colleges, college gigs. So a lot of people used to ask me about it. There was a time when I was doing a lot. I did 4 NACAs one year, did over 100 colleges. That was like 2010. I've done several hundred college gigs. So basically, there's something called NACA, which is the National Association of Campus Activities. It's an organization that puts on these conferences where student bookers go to look at performers. And it could be comedians, musicians, magicians, you name it, jugglers. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. There's 6 regional showcases. There's Mid America, South, Central, Northern Plains, Northeast, and Mid Atlantic. And then there's nationals. I was weirdly never selected for nationals, so I can't talk too much about it. But the thing is, regionals are actually better than nationals because once you get booked, you're going to get booked in a pattern that lets you drive around a certain region. And nationals, there's colleges from all over the place, so you lose money on and time on travel in between the gigs. So it's actually better to be booked all in the same area. It's just easier for your schedule. Anyway, so uh, the way you get selected to the NACA showcases, the conferences, is you submit a 3 to 5 minute tape, and they're going to look at thousands of submissions. It's very exclusive to get selected. And you want to put your best stuff first in the tape, right? So if you're a stand-up comic, you want to do, I used to just cut together like a best of reel basically from different shows. So you do, your best joke up front, then your second best joke, then your third best. You just want to front load it because you got to keep in mind that they're not going to watch the whole thing most of the time. They're watching thousands of videos. And obviously you want the crowd to be good in the video. I mean, don't send them a video where it starts with someone saying, "And now introducing John Smith," and then you come to the stage. You should always just start with your first joke. This is true, by the way, not just for NACA. For every stand-up comedy submission you ever do, just start it with your first joke. Don't have them introducing you. Can't stand that as someone who used to book shows. So you want to do okay. So first of all, you need to get an agent to submit your tape, most likely. There is a way to do it without that, and I'll get into that. But you really, realistically, your first move when you're getting into this industry is to get an agent that will submit your tape because the agencies already have memberships to NACA, and memberships are pretty expensive. And every time, there's a lot of fees associated with NACA, honestly. Like, if you do get selected, you have to pay like a showcase fee and stuff. Just submitting costs like somewhere between $60 and $100 for every region, depending on what your agent will charge you, in addition to the NACA fees. So you want to find an agent, and but by the way, don't submit unless you're pretty sure that, I mean, that you're ready for it. Don't be in such a rush that you've been doing stand up for 2 years and you have 10 minutes of material, because once you get selected you're going to have to perform for an hour. The first time I ever did a college gig, I had only ever performed for 25 minutes. So not really, in one sense I was very ill prepared, but I just literally just wrote down every joke I'd ever written on a piece of paper, and I actually ended up only getting to about half of it before the time was up. So I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself, but anyway, so there's a bunch of college agencies. There's like The College Agency, Neon Entertainment, KP Comedy, Joey Edmond, Sophie K, Bash Schuler, Auburn Moon, H2F, Admire Entertainment, Cutting Edge Entertainment, Gigi Greg Agency, Submit Entertainment, BE Colleges. I don't know if all of those still exist, but those were the ones during my heyday that were doing it. The best thing, honestly, is just go to NACA's website, look up showcase selections. Excuse me. That's what happens when you're live. You sneeze. Look up the showcase selections and look at what agencies are listed as, next to the performers who were selected for the previous year. And then you'll get a good idea of what agencies are not only around, but are consistently getting their clients. Supposedly, when they look at submissions, they're doing it blind of the agency. That's probably true. I couldn't tell you. Uh, I think with most things, I'm skeptical of impartiality. Anyways, so you'll submit the same thing you would submit to NACA to your agent, right? Every agency, by the way, you look up these agencies, all of their websites have some sort of um, instructions on how to submit to them to be a new performer. The best time to submit is like around May or whatever, the end of the school year, beginning of summer, because that's what, that's the slow time. That's ramping up towards the NACA submissions will be in late summer or fall. So that's when they're looking for new clients. That's when clients are leaving, etc. So, you'll send your agency a 3 to 5 minute tape, like I said before, and if they like you and if they have an open roster spot, uh, they'll accept you as a client, hopefully. And I'd say a typical way this works is you'll kind of start off with a lesser known agent who takes a risk on you, and then you'll end up maybe moving on to a better agency as your career progresses, or maybe you'll just stay with the one that brung you if they're doing a good job. The main thing is liking your agent. Liking your specific agent. You want someone who's a hard worker. The ideal scenario is that you get someone who gets you gigs, that aren't through NACA, because it's easy for the agent to just field the phone calls, or the bookers who are coming to get you after you've successfully done a NACA showcase. But you want an agent who cold calls, gets you gigs in addition to those. So you get an agent, then you start submitting. It's expensive, like I said. It's going to cost you, about $500 or so to submit to these different regions. You might just want to pick and choose which ones you actually submit to. In my opinion, the best is Northeast, and then followed by, I guess, like South, Mid-America, Mid-Atlantic. Oh, Northern Plains is the second best one. The thing is, with Northern Plains, though, so that's like Wisconsin, North Dakota, etc. With Northern Plains, you will book a ton of gigs. I think I booked like 40 colleges, but you actually end up not making that much money on them because they're very low paying usually. This is my experience, at least. And it involves a lot of travel, a lot of drive. Each school is like 8 hours apart because that area of the country is so spread out. Whereas like when I did Northern Plains, I only did 25 colleges, but I made more money because they're so close to each other and you can just drive quickly from one to another. And obviously this depends on where you're coming from in the country to start off with in terms of your travel. I was living in New York, so Northeast was easier for me. But there's some that kind of aren't very good. Central's not very good. South is okay. I don't know. There's some. Oh, West. I think I had missed West when I was. Yeah, I think I forgot to say West earlier. There's another one called West. West is a train wreck. Don't do West. You will not. At least as a stand-up comic, I can't speak for other things. You'll book like 2 gigs. It's just not worth it. Don't submit to West. They do not book stand-up comics. I don't know why. I think probably because a lot of stand-up comics live in LA and they figure they can just get them easier. I don't know. So you can go without NACA into the college market, and it's a little more difficult because, like I said, there's a lot of fees. You have to buy a self-representation membership, which costs $235 or something like that. But that's then in addition to that, for every region, you have to pay another fee just to submit yourself. It ends up just being a headache. Honestly, I think probably the best way to do this on your own, if you really are motivated and have the time, is to just start cold calling colleges. I would just start Googling like the name of a college, and then student activities board, student activities council, campus activities board, campus activities council. Something. It's always some combination of those words that will get you to the group on campus that hires entertainers. And so, I used to just email and say, hey, like, I'm going to be in your area. I can offer you a discount. Normally I charge, this huge highball offer, but for you, I'm willing to cut my costs down to, and then honestly, what like my normal cost was anyways. So, um, so like if I normally made 1,000, let's say on a gig, it'd be like, normally I charge 2,500, but I can do your gig for only $1,000. Um, and then you're not paying an agent. Agents take 20%. I think I forgot to say that. So, if normally you're booking a $1,200 gig, then you're keeping $1,000 or something. Or, well, that math didn't work out. If you're booking a $1,000 gig, you're keeping 800. So it adds up, the agent's fees. And but yeah, it can be very fun. It's actually performing at NACA's is shut up, Mowgli. I'm live. Be quiet. Actually performing at NACA's is very interesting. At least as a stand-up comic, I could say that you end up feeling more like, in order to get gigs. So the first time I ever did a NACA, I did very poorly because I just treat it like any other performance, and it's really not. You got to be pretty clean. It's like almost like church clean is ideal, honestly. I mean, you don't have to, but it's best if you want to book a lot of gigs. Be clean. Be very punchline heavy. Like have like obvious punchlines, not kind of meandering stories. Like I would say, like solid punchline, and the kind of punchlines that would do well with a very young crowd, right? It's mostly going to be like 18-year-olds in the audience. And it's like for most of them, they've never seen a comedy show, a live comedy show their whole life. So you want to keep it very simple, like very lowbrow humor, punchy, very high energy. Think of it like, Dane Cook was like the king of colleges, right? You want to be like very Dane Cookish, very high energy. When I really got good at NACAs, honestly, I felt more like a cheerleader than a stand-up comic. It's just like going out there and be like, "Hey guys, how you doing? Where's Ohio in the crowd?" Like because you want them to be like pumped up. This is like a vacation for them. They're very excited to be at this conference, and you'll feel like you're selling your soul, but you'll book more gigs if you follow that kind of general advice of just being like really high energy, really punchy, really animated on stage. Also, keep in mind you're very small to them, right? It's like it's a room with thousands of people in it, and there's the spotlight. You're just a very little person, so you got to really be big. And yeah, I'm sure it's similar things for any other type of entertainer who's doing these showcases. And keep in mind too, as a stand-up comic, you could go up there. I mean, there's times I had to follow like a slam poetry talking about racism and oppression, right? And it's like things that are the worst thing to follow as a comedian. In my opinion, what NACA should do is just have specific. Anyways, I hope that helped, and good luck out there.